In 1887, Michelson and Morley conducted an experiment that demonstrated that the Earth was stationary. Here's a short clip by Michael Bowden.
In 1887, an experiment shattered the scientific community. Michelson and Morley tried to check the speed of the Earth through the ether as it orbited the Sun by passing light in two directions, one in the direction of the Earth's travel and one at right angles, and then comparing them for differences. They expected to measure a speed of about 30 kilometers per second. To their amazement, there was no movement of this order. They called it a null result. They actually measured 1 to 10 kilometers per second, but it was still called a null result. They rushed out the theory called the Fitzgerald-Lorentz contraction. This claimed that the tube in line with the direction of movement shortens as it moves through the ether. There was no evidence whatsoever for this. It was only a way of getting over the implication that the Earth was stationary.
How convenient!
As stated in the video, in response to the Michelson and Morley's null result, meaning the experiment indicated that the Earth didn't move, the Lorentz factor and Einstein's special theory of relativity were created. Maybe a few of you researchers remember this quote from Einstein. While I was thinking of this problem in my student years, I came to know the strange result of Michelson's experiment. Soon, I came to the conclusion that our idea about the motion of the Earth with respect to the ether is incorrect, if we admit Michelson's null result as a fact. This was the first path which led me to the special theory of relativity. Since then, I have come to believe that the motion of the Earth cannot be detected by any optical experiment, though the Earth is revolving around the Sun. And that's Albert Einstein. Just like how globe propagandists claim that refraction has this amazing ability to repeatedly remove the curvature from long-distance filming to present a false flat Earth, all without visible effect, or how refraction somehow bends mirror-reflected sunlight, lasers, and light around the curvature of the Earth so that it only appears like the Earth is flat, or that gravity or air pressure at any altitude or speed automatically causes an airplane's nose to continually dip down to compensate for the curvature, or that all of the layers of the atmosphere stick to the Earth like Velcro without any effect from the rotation of the Earth, or that a balloon like Felix Baumgartner's can reach 128,000 feet for hours and actually speed up to keep up with the rotating ground below it and then slow down as it descends to land where it started, or how propagandists explain away the fact that a high precision mechanical gyroscope indicates neither rotation nor curvature due to some unknown natural correction to the gyroscope. Nature sure is hell-bent on tricking us into believing the Earth is flat, isn't it? But in the case of Michelson-Morley's null result, Einstein and the other phony scientists claimed that the Earth's movement through space caused the actual, tangible, physical tube to shorten, which produced the null result. In other words, instead of recognizing the obvious fact that the Earth is stationary, we can't have that. A nonsensical claim that time, length, and mass change for an object moving at speeds close to the speed of light. The theory was conjured for the masses, and they accepted it.
There was no evidence whatsoever for this. It was only a way of getting over the implication that the Earth was stationary.
No matter how far-fetched the explanation is, the globe narrative is for some reason sacrosanct and must be upheld. This brings me to my research on Guglielmo Marconi, and thank you Flat Earth Brothers for originally pointing this out. If you didn't know, on December 12, 1901, Marconi received a transatlantic radio signal at a distance of 2,135 miles. We're talking about a curvature drop of approximately 527 miles. Mount Everest has an elevation of 5.5 miles. The curvature drop was nearly 100 times bigger than the elevation of Mount Everest. Many people told Marconi that he couldn't send a signal more than 200 miles due to the curvature of the Earth, as shown right here in this article. Surprise, surprise! The curvature wasn't a problem at all. So what happened? Because of Marconi, the ionosphere was created. On December 12, 1901, Guglielmo Marconi and his assistant George Kemp heard the faint clicks of Morse code for the letter S transmitted through wires across the Atlantic Ocean. This achievement, the first reception of transatlantic radio signals, led to considerable advances in both science and technology. It demonstrated that radio transmission was not bounded by the horizon, thus prompting Arthur Kennelly and Oliver Heaviside to suggest shortly thereafter the existence of a layer of ionized air in the upper atmosphere, the Kennelly-Heaviside layer, now called the ionosphere. In 1902, Arthur Kennelly and Oliver Heaviside independently proposed the existence of an atmospheric layer of ions that conducts electricity and reflects radio waves. Kennelly published his ideas on March 15th. Heaviside's hypothesis went public on December 19th. The layer is now called the E region. Both men came to their theories by observation of the movement of communication signals across long distances. Kennelly, an academic and consulting engineer for the communications industry, noticed that Guglielmo Marconi's reception in Newfoundland of radio signals sent from England was much better than radio wave theory could predict. Marconi, however, had no explanation for why the curvature of the Earth did not stop them from moving across the Atlantic Ocean. Kennelly guessed that a layer of ionized gas high in the atmosphere was reflecting radio waves and extending their ability to propagate. Short-wave radio waves might enter this ionosphere, but longer waves would bounce off it. This property allowed them to curve around the Earth and beyond the horizon. At the same time, Heaviside, a largely self-taught British physicist, came to a similar conclusion. The only reason the ionosphere was introduced into science was to explain away the lack of curvature. Now, of course, mainstream science claims that the ionosphere is a proven fact based primarily on the tests of Edward Appleton. But wouldn't the ionosphere render radio telescopes useless, maybe? What about the NASA communications to Apollo astronauts? What about ISS live stream transmissions? What about bouncing lasers and radio signals off of the moon? Most of this alleged radio bouncing off the ionosphere occurs in coastal areas. So why can't I bounce a radio signal off of the ionosphere over the Rocky Mountains? It should be easier to bounce a signal off of the ionosphere over the Rocky Mountains than to bounce a radio signal over the Atlantic Ocean. So why isn't this commonplace? Since Guglielmo, the distances have gotten only further, but only between coastal cities that would be in direct line of sight with each other on a flat Earth. Can I state with 100% certainty that the ionosphere doesn't exist? No, I can't. Some flat earthers would even claim that it's the dome. But don't you see the pattern here? We have a major problem with the globe, and the globe propagandists immediately come up with a comical theory to save the globe that is somehow unquestionably accepted. I hope that a few of you amateur radio operators who understand DXing and skywave propagation will take some time and explore the alleged proofs of the ionosphere and test it out for yourself and share your findings, because I'd bet that the ionosphere is phony globe propaganda. For you globe propagandists, before commenting about how I'm so dumb and calling me names, you must first show me how you personally can bounce a radio signal over the Rocky Mountains. I don't care about anyone else's falsifiable claims with equipment that no ordinary person can acquire. You personally must show me how you can bounce a signal over the Rocky Mountains by using the ionosphere. For some reason, I couldn't actually find any videos demonstrating skywave propagation over mountain ranges. Marconi supposedly did it at a distance of 2,135 miles. Others have now claimed to have reached the distance of 11,000 miles from coastal locations that would have a direct line of sight on the flat Earth. You should be able to do it at a mere distance of 500 miles over the Rocky Mountains. That's it. Independently prove the ionosphere exists and that you're more than just a parrot of the official narrative. Good luck with that.